It's that time of year again, so let's talk about phobias. The game of the day is Fearmonium, which is an interesting term. Monium, it means something that you are given obligation by, or are obligated to give. So, something like the example given from the Wiktionary is pater means father, patrimonium means inheritance. So patrimonium is that which is given to you by your father. It's not necessarily what's directly given, but as an example, mater meaning mother, and matrimonium means marriage. In this case, it is the permission of the mother to allow marriage and to give marriage. So, this can be considered that which fear gives to you. Let's also talk about phobias. From Harvard Health, a phobia is a persistent, excessive, unrealistic fear of an object, person, animal, activity, or situation. It is a type of anxiety disorder. So a phobia is not simply something that you are afraid of. Say, if you see a bear while you are out camping, you do not necessarily have a phobia of that bear. You are potentially scared of that bear. However, that interaction with the bear could then give you a phobia of bears, where an encounter with a bear in any situation, give it a completely safe situation, like watching one through an enclosure at a zoo or even seeing one on TV, could promote that fear response. This is a game about fears, phobias, and coping mechanisms. This game also deals with some somewhat heavy topics, so I'll give a content warning in that regard. Topics such as, for example, abuse, physical and mental. And given that the game is about fears and phobias, I will start by saying the game does have a happy ending, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. This game was made by Red Black Spade, which is an independent game developer. Made the entire game as a one-person team, with the exception of the music, which was done by a good friend. So, keep in mind that this game was made entirely by one person. I will also preemptively point out that the artwork, the character art in this game, will at first seem a little juvenile, but I have seen other games that this person has made, and though not a super professional artist, is certainly capable of making very nice artwork. Which tells me that a lot of the character art decisions in this game were intentional. Probably intended to promote that more youthful interpretation, I suppose. Regardless, with all that said, let's dive in. There are not a lot in the way of video settings, not even one to set a strict window size. But you can just grab the window and drag it, Though it would be nice if there was a way to set it to, yes, I want it to be this exact size. You can also turn screen shake on or off. I believe this was a request on the Steam forums, of which the developer has been very attentive, paying attention to what people have suggested, what issues they have had, and has offered help or even patches around that. I'm going to leave screen shake on, but we're going to see if that bothers me down the road. I'm approaching this with the same semi-blind approach that I take to minigames, which is that I'm fairly knowledgeable about the game and have done a reasonable amount of research, but I have not personally hands-oned it. So X to advance. Yes, it was actually X. Also, because I know there are some people out there worried about language, there is a minor amount of language in this game. It's predominantly just going to be during the cutscenes. It's not excessive, though. Okay, the city fair has been gone for another year. It's been a long day, but the holidays are over. Here come the gray days. Things are about to get worse. I hope my stepfather is asleep. Please, I can't handle more today. I never wanted him to move here. This is Grandpa's house. At least it was. Until last week. Max, you know your father doesn't like you getting home late. He's not my father, so I don't care. How dare you? Mind your tongue, Max. You shouldn't shout. If he wakes up, you'll get it too. That's my business. Where have you been? I've been hanging out at the fair with magicians, fire breathers, acrobats. I've played billiards, and guess what? Even with creepy clowns everywhere, there was a better atmosphere than this house. Come back. I haven't finished with you. I'm going to bed. You can finish tomorrow. This house used to be a peaceful place where I felt safe. I could be myself. Now I wish I was invisible, so they'd forget I exist. Mother didn't ask me where I'd been out of interest. Tomorrow, she'll have to tell him why his little idiot stepson wasn't here all day. Having her to pick on isn't enough for him. Trying to reason with him is as hopeless as trying to be happy. Good night, Max. I hope I don't wake up. And so he dreams happy memories of his time at the carnival. Until we show up. A to jump. It's just a dream. You're not real. Not real. X to attack. We can destroy the skeletons. Don't seem to be able to hit those balloons. But I can hit the lamps. So, as I said, this game is going to get worse before it gets better. Our protagonist is this small clown, which is here to torment our, I suppose you could say, secondary protagonist, Max. Max has been having a rough time, as we will see more of in the future, but can already tell. He used to be happy. This used to be his grandfather's house, someone that he loved very much. His stepfather, on the other hand, is someone that he is very much at odds with, and it seems like his mother is too. For the most part, given some of the dialogue we just saw, he seems to still be fond of his mother, but at the same time holds some resentment against her for probably bringing the stepfather into the house, as well as the situation the stepfather has put them both in, putting them at odds with each other. After all, if you put two angry people in a room together that are both angry about different things, they will still probably end up angry at each other. We are a small memory, though, that has been tormenting Max. We will see why, and what our goal is with that soon. Come closer and let old Felix see you better. That's more like it. Do you know where we are, or even who you are, dear? We are inside the mind of a boy named Max. He was having a magnificent dream, which became a nightmare when you dropped by. Next, the fate of today's memories will be decided. Some memories become forgotten, broken skeletons. Others linger for years to come. They expand and evolve, ultimately becoming more significant to Max. And you, my dear, are simply an unpleasant memory. But you also have the chance to evolve. You could become a phobia. All neuroses are born from unpleasantries of the mind. Can't break anything here, but I can break these balloons. These balloons are going to be a currency of sorts. Hold right trigger to select and equip items. Press B to use an equipped item. More information about collected items can be found on the items page of the pause menu. So right trigger, and then left and right will cycle through. Not up and down, just left and right. But I suppose left and right are right there on the screen. And then B will use it. I do not know what this syringe is. I want to break that lamppost. I don't think breaking the lamppost... Well, some of them have balloons in them, so I guess there is a purpose. The other memories are defending themselves. So, as he said, we are an unpleasant memory. That's what we are right now. Now, what caused this unpleasant memory to exist, we don't really know. Oh wow, you don't slow down, do you? We do have health bar. It is in the upper left-hand corner. We can see the blue syringe being a 1. So we have the 1 syringe. We can also hop up ledges. You can see we couldn't get all the way up on our own, but we can kind of hoop up. So, items. So, item. Adrenaline. A substance that stimulates the body and mind to cope with threats. Completely restores health. So it's a healing item. Don't appear to be able to do anything with that. Wait. And I cannot get high enough to go up that way. Clowns? Seriously? I woke up in the middle of the night over clowns. They're not even scary. At least, I've never thought so. I'm shaking. It's like being back in the school toilets with Lucas and the others. Although I'd prefer Lucas to that hideously painted face right now. Maybe I'll fall asleep faster if... No, it's stupid. I should have thrown all that stuff away years ago. I'm not even 7 anymore. I'm not 7 anymore. Time to quit playing with toys. If I can't sleep without an old bear, maybe Lucas is right to bully me. Stop it, Max. Just try to sleep. Forget the bear. Only a little kid would be scared of that crazy mallet-wielding clown girl. I'm not a little kid anymore. So he's dealing with troubles at home, and he's also dealing with troubles at school, as we've now heard tale of a bully named Lucas. Press back to open the map. Ah, there we go. This game has a massive map. This is a metroidvania, as you may have concluded thus far, and it is not a small one. Absolutely enormous map. When you see crying eyes, follow them. They will lead you to Lady Depression. So this is actually an important bit for later. Whenever you see one of those eyes, that means she is nearby. Unknown lady. What do we have here? Is it an unpleasant little memory? And I thought a colorful day at the fair would only lift Max's spirits. I'm thrilled Max remembers something unsettling from today, but of course Max is trying to forget you. His brighter memories are washing you away. Forgetting is a common psychological defense, but fear not, you aren't alone in your struggle for a meaningful role in Max's mind. I will support you. I am Max's depression. Lady Depression. I bask in Max's tears, and it's in my best interest to never let them dry. Bad memories and neuroses are fine reasons to shed fresh tears, so I have to take care of you, my child. However, you are still weak. To become a fully fledged phobia, you will have to master an essential skill of neuroses, distorting memories. What do I mean? For example, someone afraid of spiders can never be sure if any were nearby yesterday, a month ago, at any moment. Phobias cloud every corner of human memory with worry, fear, and insecurity. Max's nightmare stretches out before you, full of bright images and other unpleasant memories. Destroy them all. Prove you're the strongest. Let Max forget joyful faces, music, and attractions. Let him remember you alone. I am the best assistant in this matter. I can preserve the memory of you forever. She saves our game. Stress is the main ground for me to blossom. When you learn more about Max, you will understand why my image shines so brightly. So she is our save point, so when you see the eyeballs nearby, you will know that a save point is nearby. Very helpful. Why does she look like she does is a completely different question, and one that I am not even sure is directly answered in this game. But there are hints. Much, much later. That said, at this moment, we're fighting for survival. If Max forgets about us, we go away. We die. So we want to establish ourselves in his memories so we can continue to exist. And Lady Depression is going to help us out with that. Antidepressant. Wait a minute. I overheard you in depression. Let me introduce myself. I'm antidepressant. Max saw a doctor and took a few pills, hoping I could help treat his blues. But a few pills weren't enough. I tried my best to beat depression, but am I an apt warrior? Look at me. I'm about as tall as her bath. That wretch isn't intimidated by me. When I confronted her, she didn't bat an eyelid. In fact, she asked me to hand her a towel. Unless Max takes his pills properly, I can't support him against depression, but I can detect her evil spirit, even when she's lurking in several corners of Max's mind at once. Give me 30 of those beautiful balloons, and I'll mark your map with reminders of all the places you meet this so-called Lady Depression. Do we have a deal? This is a permanent map marker that seems useful, so sure, I'll take it. There are actually kind of a shortage of balloons in this game if you want to fully upgrade everything that you get. However, even the developer has said he did not expect you to have everything maxed by the end of the game. There is an achievement for doing it, though. I'll worry about that as time goes on. For the time being, I'm probably going to forego buying temporary items and focus on purchasing permanent ones. Alright, now you can see Depression's hideout spots on your map. Aren't you glad I've been keeping track of her? I'm not sure whether or not I should wish you good luck. I have a strange feeling about you. That's going to be something else to speak on, is our role. Because at first glance, we may just be a fear, an unpleasant memory trying to be a phobia and do nothing but bad things for Max. But it may be a bit more complicated than that. Also, on the notes of antidepressants, and such, they are more often than not used to help a chemical imbalance in the head. What this means is as soon as you stop taking them, the chemicals stopping the chemical imbalance will eventually clean out of your system, and the chemical balance will resurface. Now, there are, of course, different kinds of depression. There are some things that you can be upset with and upset about that cause that depression, at which point something like counseling can help you work through those issues and understand and deal with them. There are other times that it is not an external issue, it is legitimately just a chemical imbalance, at which point no amount of counseling can really help. And that's the point when you do or may potentially need medication. As a bit of clarity for all of this, I personally am taking anti-anxiety medication, and I am seeing a counselor to help me with that and to deal with that. Depression is also something that I have dealt with before, but I don't feel like I have ever dealt with depression to an extent that I've needed medication or to see a counselor over that specifically. I also have a somewhat strong phobia, and unfortunately this is one that I don't have a very good way of dealing with. But thankfully it's not something I have to deal with very often, and I think the anxiety medication has actually helped. So, moving on then, we see a very confused Max over there. And you, Melphis. We all dissolve in Max's mind. We all drown into unconscious. My face. Max forgot the color of my face. Now I stand before you, pale as a skeleton. My legs. They did not survive in Max's mind. Everything is drawn by the unconscious. Do you need guiding? I know the way. I've traveled a lot, in vain of not being forgotten. I will show you the path. I will guide you through Max's consciousness, but not for nothing, but for a modest fee. 50 balloons, and on your map, I will mark a place where progress awaits. But beware, I will immediately save the memory of your sacrifice. Each visit, my service will cost more. Do we have a deal? This is one I'm not going to be paying for. This is effectively a hint. If you're lost, you can go and talk to them to see where you need to go next. Once you reach that destination, it'll go away and you'll have to pay for it again. So if this is something that I can find the answer to somewhere else, such as just blindly searching, I'll save the balloons. Foolish. You will be lost in here without me. You will be forgotten. You will become a skeleton. Could have just taken those balloons right next to it if you really wanted balloons that bad. Evil clown. Remember to save with Lady Depression when possible. Upon death, all unsaved progress will be forgotten. Yep, that's how saving works. Okay, so I can't go any further in this direction. That is actually something I'm going to go and... Well, I may not be able to do anything with it, and I think it gives me a prompt if it does. You need a key there, yeah. So we'll come back to that later. Wait. Okay, so we had Max up there. This is where we talked to Antidepressant. So we can go right and down. Yes. I had that information already. Have you learned yet? You shouldn't be afraid of other clowns. We're all a single whole with you. We're all on the same side, whether we like it or not. I suppose that's true if you're trying to become a proper phobia. You cannot become a phobia of a single clown. It would more so be a phobia of clowns. Though I'm sure if need be, you could become a more specific phobia, like a phobia of female clowns. But I think when it is only a single entity, it is more often than not a standard fear and not a phobia. I could potentially be wrong on that, but I think that's what it is. So we have a couple different options we can go. Wrong button. Yeah, like 3 different doors to go through. With that said, though, we've been going for a little bit, and I don't know how much I want to keep going or get involved in something else. So let's take a peek. Yeah, let's call it for now. We've got our introduction to the game. Did I get another balloon from that, given that I've already destroyed it? So, until next time, everyone, when we dive a bit more into Max's mind.